What's going on, folks? My name is LBThaRealist with Surrealistic Studios. Surreal news where the real is surreal. So check this out, folks. It gets most surreal. I'm going to read this article from news.sky.com. This is Sky News. And this is kind of starting to be a trend with the stories that I'm doing today of increased security. Increase the local Amtrak workers here in San Diego want increased security because they feel unsafe in the workplace. U.S. missionaries were just kidnapped supposedly in Haiti, and the people there need more security. They feel like, there has been a lack of uh, organization ever since everything happened with the earthquake and President Moise. And now we're following this political news story today in which U.S. politicians require more security. So check this out. U.S. politicians stepping up security in increasingly acrimonious political climate. After the death of Sir David, After the death of Sir David Ames, MP, Sky's Sally Lockwood explains how politicians across the Atlantic are having to spend even larger amounts of money on protecting themselves amid an atmosphere that marked the deadly 6th January attack on the U.S. Capitol. So, the divisive nature of American politics has seen threats against politicians rise fourfold in the last year, according to a security review following the attack on Capitol Hill. The invasion of Congress on the 6th of January revealed the physical risk now posed to politicians in a polarized and acrimonious political climate, an angry mob attacking one of the most protected buildings in the world amid false claims of a stolen election. Capitol Hill has its own police force, but they were overwhelmed. 5 people died that day, and elected officials were forced to flee or hide, fearing for their lives. In the weeks that followed, a huge military and security presence surrounded the Capitol building. Many politicians stepped up their own personal security measures. Some even bought body armor or carried a firearm. Retired Major General Linda Singh was one of those tasked with reviewing their security. She says, "The key thing is, how can we ensure their safety, but yet allow them to do what they're hired to do? I mean, they're elected to be out in the public, and so how do we get that fine balance?" Major General Singh explains striking that balance isn't easy. "I think it's challenging because every member, as you can imagine, has their own view of their security," she adds. "So one of the things that you really have to do is to get personal with that individual to say, how are we going to work this? What works for you may not work for the next person." Congressional spending on private security has surged among members of both parties since the 6th of January attack on Capitol Hill. Republican Liz Cheney spent $58,000 on protective measures in the first 3 months of this year after publicly denouncing Donald Trump for inciting the violence. Fellow Republican Senator Mitt Romney spent more than $43,000 on security after voting to impeach the former president. U.S. politicians don't usually meet with members of the public without an appointment. When they hold town halls, which is about as close as you can get to a constituency surgery in America, they are allowed to expense security detail and body armor. But if they want protection for their homes or bodyguards when they're out and about, they have to pay for it themselves. The most recent targeted attack on individual members of Congress include that on Democrat Gabrielle Giffords, who was shot at point-blank range during a constituents meeting outside a supermarket in Arizona 10 years ago. She survived. I remember that. Yeah, that was crazy. In 2015, Senator Clementa Pinckney, a Democratic member of the South Carolina Senate, was killed in a mass shooting at a historic black church in the state in what was thought to be a hate crime. I don't remember that one. 2 years later, a gunman opened fire on politicians during a congressional baseball match. Senior Republican Steve Scalise, the representative for Louisiana's 1st congressional district and a minority whip, was the most injured. Political spending on security in America is now roughly 3 times what it was 2 years ago, according to analysis by U.S. investigative media. Members of Congress regularly face threats and harassment simply trying to do their job. Again, this is going to be from Sky News, and I'll go ahead and leave it below if you want to check it out for yourself. So, yeah, U.S. politicians are in desperate need of more security. And with everything going on, with all the divisiveness and censorship and all of this other stuff, with politics and who the president is and who's getting jabbed up, and we're living in rough time, folks. We're living in rough times, very rough times. So leave me your thoughts in the comment section below on this. Like this video, share and subscribe, all that jazz. Love, peace, and light. Until next time, find all my information down below. And I'll catch you guys on the next video, all right? Be kind, rewind. And I'm out.